General Hospital. The nurses' ball explosion, a night of reckoning, betrayal, and revelation. Port Charles had braced itself for a night of glitter and glamour, but what unfolded on the stage of the nurses' ball was something no one could have foreseen, a maelstrom of buried secrets, shattered illusions, and irreversible consequences. In one tumultuous evening, lives were upended and truths that had festered in silence finally clawed their way into the light. From heart-wrenching family implosions to chilling vendettas, General Hospital delivered a crescendo of drama that will ripple through the town for years to come. The night's most explosive moment came not with a gunshot or a grand gesture, but with the anguished confession of a boy robbed of the truth. Giovanni, Gio, Palmieri, the rising musical prodigy whose performances had captivated Port Charles, transformed his violin solo into an emotional outcry of betrayal. With trembling hands and teary eyes, Gio revealed what no one had expected him to say. He was not just a performer, but the long-lost son of Dante Falconeri and Brooke Lynn Quartermain. The revelation stunned the crowd into silence. The violin that once symbolized his connection to the only mother he'd ever known, Lois Cerullo, was smashed on stage, echoing the destruction of his trust and identity. It wasn't Lulu Spencer who delivered this secret, but Gio himself, exhausted from the lies and rejection he'd endured for years. In front of hundreds, he bared the emotional scars left by the parents who abandoned him, not knowing he was theirs. Behind the scenes, chaos unraveled further. Lulu and Lois, once close, clashed bitterly in the wake of the secret's release. Lulu, defiant in her decision to dig for the truth, refused to heed Carly's warnings to tread carefully. Her crusade to expose Brooke Lynn's deception has now left Dante grappling with guilt, Brooke Lynn reeling in shame, and Gio spiraling into an emotional tailspin. Dante, tormented by the possibility that he unknowingly ignored his own child, finds himself engulfed by regret. His recent confrontation with Gio, accusing him of being a bad influence on Rocco after the teenager's alcohol poisoning, now feels painfully ironic. Every harsh word, every dismissal, was a wound Gio carried silently. Now Dante must face not only the truth but the possibility that he pushed his son even further away without ever realizing who he was. But the unraveling doesn't end there. As one family implodes, another crumbles in the shadows. Curtis Ashford, still recovering emotionally and physically from the recent upheaval in his life, finds himself staring down another betrayal. Portia Robinson, his wife, had been hiding a secret tied to Drew Kane's latest manipulations. Drew, ruthless and desperate, had blackmailed Portia, coercing her into silence under the weight of her own past deceptions. For years, Portia lied to her daughter Trina about her true paternity. Now, history is repeating itself, with darker implications. Curtis confronts Portia during the gala's intermission, just as whispers about her connection to Drew's unethical medical experiments begin to circulate. Portia pleads for forgiveness, begging Curtis to salvage what remains of their crumbling marriage. But Curtis, betrayed too many times, is no longer the man who compromises for love. As the curtains rise once more, he quietly steps away, his decision unspoken but etched in his silence. Meanwhile, Drew spirals deeper into his own abyss. His vendetta against those he deems responsible for his failures has led him down a dangerous path, one paved with ketamine, threats, and manipulation. Questions abound. Who was the intended target of his ketamine plot? Was it Nina Reeves, his former flame whose loyalties shifted too quickly, or the elusive doctor who fed Brad Cooper classified intel from Drew's medical records? Backstage, another storm brews. Alexis Davis pulls her daughter Christina Corinthos Davis aside with a truth that could land them both in court. Ava Jerome and Rick Lansing have obtained surveillance footage that proves Christina sabotaged Rick's car, believing it belonged to Ava. What began as a moment of impulsive vengeance now threatens to spiral into a full-blown criminal case. Christina's face, usually defiant, now reflects unfiltered fear. In trying to protect herself, she might have endangered Elizabeth Baldwin's life too. And Alexis can no longer shield her from the consequences. As the night nears its finale, a long-lost presence returns to steal the spotlight, Michael Corinthos. The son presumed to be abroad and estranged from his family steps back into the nurses' ball with quiet authority. Gone is the boy who walked away. In his place stands a man with purpose, resolve, and legal documentation that could change the fate of his son Wiley forever. With Rory Gibson now embodying the role, Michael wastes no time. His reappearance leaves Drew and Willow visibly shaken. Moments earlier, Drew had mocked Carly and celebrated what he assumed would be a guaranteed custody win. But all that confidence disintegrates when Michael enters the ballroom. He doesn't speak much, he doesn't need to. His presence alone rewrites the narrative. Every whisper, every camera flash now belongs to him. His silence is louder than their threats. The confrontation that follows is restrained yet venomous. Willow stares, torn between two versions of her past. Drew clutches the edges of his jacket, suddenly aware that the ground beneath his feet is no longer steady. The custody case will now play out under a new light, one that favors a Corinthos. As the final act of the nurses' ball concludes, the stage is no longer a place for performances but for judgment, regret, and confrontation. What was meant to be a celebration has become a reckoning. The town of Port Charles will not emerge from this unscathed. Secrets once buried are now carved into the hearts of those who swore to protect them. And in the ashes of trust, new rivalries are born, old wounds are reopened, and the countdown to the next battle has already begun.